how did we come up with Labelbox? It's kind of funny. For many of the companies I've started, I've worked with my current other co-founder, Manu, and we would always think so hard about the name and, the name, what are we going to name this thing? And oh gosh, just so many just anxiety filled conversations about that because we thought it was so important. Now with Labelbox, we're like, hey, why don't we just work on the company and stop thinking about the name? So obviously when we started the business, it was all about labeling, and it's a box is kind of like a nomenclature in Silicon Valley for a place to do things, store things, whatever. Label box. And we thought about it for about 30 minutes and we got back to working on the company. And maybe that, 3 hours of not thinking about the name was the difference. Who knows? But it was just that simple. There isn't any super elegant rationale behind it. Labelbox is a data-centric AI platform for building intelligent applications. And what that means is the way we teach AI how to understand the world and how to make decisions on behalf of our companies and our teams and the particular applications that we're applying it to is through examples and through data. And so Labelbox is that data-centric system that allows teams and AI developers and engineers to teach these AI what to know and how to make decisions, and ultimately how to perform for the business applications that they're being used for. One of the cool things about these new AI models that are available, the GPTs and these foundation models, you could say, from lots of different companies and open source communities, is that they do have general understanding. And what that does is it allows you to start somewhere. 5 years ago, you would have had to start with a bunch of data and a bunch of labeled information and all of these things in order to just get that model to work in and of itself. But now we have these foundation models and these generative AI models that are generally knowledgeable, and they can kind of figure things out to some extent. So the place to start really, and the opportunity is, we can take a business problem now. Let's say it's figuring out where in a legal document there are risky clauses for my business, right? And we can apply one of these new age machine learning models to it, and we can start to work with it in terms of like, where are the risky clauses, and it'll come back with some answers. And from there we can begin to teach this model from that point about our particular application, our particular way of understanding legal clauses, and the peculiarities of our business. And we do that through labeling, or reinforcement learning, or fine tuning, or retrieval augmentation systems. There's lots of different things out there to do this, but the great part is there's sort of a foundation to start with. And even if you're not an AI expert, you can start there, because these are fairly simple models to use and to sort of apply to your problem and kind of see what you get. And as we've always believed at Labelbox, the most exciting part of AI is that you don't need to be an expert in AI anymore. You need to be an expert in your domain, because that's the real hardy information, the real signal in the noise that the AI can use to understand your business. Because you no longer really have to program the models anymore. The models are algorithms; they're sort of programmed already. They're sort of set up already. The real programming is done through examples. So if you're an expert in a particular thing, like manufacturing of a particular shampoo, and you're trying to do a quality assurance process on that, your expert understanding of how to understand the quality of a manufactured shampoo product is the exact data and expertise that an AI model needs from its foundation to become useful and performant in your business domain. And so if you're an expert, I think the huge opportunity in AI is you have the knowledge in your head to really take an AI model that you find online and turn it into something really, really compelling for the business. So we started Labelbox in 2018. The challenge that my founding team and I encountered was we were trying to build a computer vision system for satellite imagery to understand certain aspects about the world. And so we had lots of camera images from these satellites, and we were trying to provide intelligent insights and actionable data for businesses, from banking to the government to agriculture applications. And things like counting the number of cars in a parking lot on Black Friday to understand, whether or not Best Buy is going to do well in their earnings report, or understanding the level of oil in oil tank reserves in different parts of the country. These are insights that businesses can use to more intelligently run their companies and make decisions about the future, and to understand the logistics of the world, the nature of crop health, and the nature of the Amazon's health, and how much of the Amazon is being cut down versus how much is growing, and how the climate science understanding in terms of what we should expect from the future of global warming and so forth. So lots of different applications, and our sort of insight was that the process of taking data and turning that into AI ready training data that would be used to train a machine learning model was very difficult. You would have to use all these different services, third party services. And what companies really need to do is use their own company's expertise to draw on these images, or input their own expertise. Like, this is an oil level that's a certain level, or this is a area of the rainforest that is being cut down. Those are all computer vision sort of problems that you need to teach an AI, an artificial intelligence model, how to understand. And so the process of taking raw satellite imagery and turning that into data that a machine learning system can use to understand the world is actually fairly complex. It's sort of like developing software. And so there really wasn't a tool available to do this data-centric workflow. And so we built Labelbox to serve that purpose for all industries. The challenge right now is that the AI capability and the pace of innovation is moving so quickly that it's hard to kind of like put a pole in the sand and say, okay, we've got the tech. How do we build testing and best practices around that? Because the second we put that pole down, we've got a GPT-5 that can do a whole new myriad of things. And so we're sort of in that world right now. It's one of the fastest technology waves that certainly I've seen. What really excites me about working at Labelbox, I would say in general, because our product is directly involved with the data part of building AI and machine learning technology, we get to interact with companies like Procter & Gamble that are working on really interesting problems. And we get to see those problems manifest in data, which means we get to see the visual information or the textual information. And so our company is built of people that love understanding the world and are curious about how things work and that sort of thing. So for us, the most exciting thing that we get up in the morning for is we get to see how the whole world kind of does things. Like, okay, how does a system track which trains go down the track? And it turns out they actually use sound to understand which trains are at which stations. It's just you'd never think of it that way, but there are these new AI systems that can track trains with sound and with the whistles and so forth. And it's stuff like that, or it's we work with a company that creates custom nails that you can get that like scans your whole nail and can give you a perfectly fit nail that's stylized with your own design or whatever. And we just get to see these amazing use cases, underwater welding, where someone can certify their weld for a structure using a vision model that's right next to them. And we get to understand how a good weld looks like, and what it means for a weld to be certifiable and 100 meters underwater, right? And so we just love that. We just get to see the world and understand how it works and see what companies are trying to do to improve their businesses and improve the products that they provide to their customers. So that's what we love. We talk about it every week. We get together and we show different use cases that are on our part of our user base, customer base.